my God, just get out of there. Get out of
Come
there.
on.
How is this thing still flying? It got wrecked.
I know, it looked like it was in tatters.
Oh! I knew it. I knew that thing wasn't dead.
Oh, God.
Nope.
Ugh.
Nope. Ugh, everything is nope this episode.
Oh, God. Nightmare fuel.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. This is our reaction to The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, Chapter 10, The Passenger. Not an episode you want to watch late at night if one of your deepest, darkest fears is a spider loose in the room.
Yes.
Ugh. Gross. This is Wookieeleaks. It's our Mandalorian after show that fat shames Baby Yoda because that little tummy's binge eating almost got everyone killed. I'm Erik Voss. Here with me is Tommy Bechtold. How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there. What a disturbing episode. As you can see, I've constructed my own blue dungeon here because all I want to do is be like you when I grow up.
Hey, oh, that's so sweet. And look, you can see some furniture behind it.
Yeah,
see, this, mine isn't a window. Mine's only a window into the depths of your soul and how you'll never escape.
Yes, indeed. Yes, my blue dungeon is a little more transparent. It absorbs you, and then it also allows you to have a little bit of privacy. So for some naughty things, like you can turn around and do like some silhouette dancing in mine.
A reminder to all of you watching, we are going to be here every Friday with these after shows. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a separate in-depth breakdown of the episode, shot by shot, all the hidden visual details. And while it seems like kind of a side episode, maybe not a ton of Star Wars Easter eggs, there are so many cool visual details, cinematic homages that they worked in there. The craft of these episodes is amazing. So there's a lot to talk about. And before Tommy gets into the recap, I am currently wearing this custom "This Is the Way" shirt, exclusive from New Rockstars official merch store. These are limited release, and even though we had thought we had ordered enough for the entire season, it looks like if we stay on this pace, the red and the white unisex versions will be sold out by Monday.
Ooh.
And all the women's sizes look like they might be sold out before then. So you gotta get on this fast.
I gotta hurry up. I haven't ordered mine yet. I don't know what's taking me so long. I just can't think of my, you're gonna say what we're gonna be able to do with it next, so I won't just reveal that.
That's right, Tommy. When you buy this Mando shirt for a few bucks more, you can also write in a custom shout out, a hot take, a theory, a question, the word poop over and over again. Something clean, hopefully, because we think younger audiences might be watching.
Yes.
It's going to appear beneath Tommy and me in these Wookieeleaks episode. You can be part of this episode. Look, you can see some below. I see Erik, you can leave the 904, but you're always Duval. That's right. I will. Yeah, you can't take the Duval out of the kid. And then Tommy, you got a regional one too. Josh Allen is my father, and Tommy Bechtold is my mother. Go Bills.
Yes. Oh, my baby. I'm rocking you. My baby Yoda. My baby Noda. We'll
be seeing more of these at the bottom throughout this episode, and you can be part of this too. Just go to newrockstarsmerch.com and get this shirt. Check out all of our great merch options. We got a great "Hi, I'm Erik Voss" one that I'm going to try to push at you because I just love it. Tommy, what happened this episode?
Hope you guys did not watch this before bed. I hope most of you have awoken to watch this on Friday because this episode is nightmare fuel all the way. So, on their way out of Tatooine, Mando and Baby Yoda nearly die when bandits snare his speeder bike. Mando, of course, eventually takes them all out, including one with his own jetpack. It's always amazing to me how good at disarming people and figuring stuff out Mando is, and how bad he is at getting trapped. He got the old tripwire, Looney Tunes tripwire.
This guy has a death wish. He loves getting into trouble just so he can get out of it.
Exactly. I think that is his thing. Kelly Motto and her aunt buddy, Dr. Mandible, who I got a crush. I got a crush on Dr. Mandible. Connect with Mando, not to be confused with Mandible. They connect Mando with someone who knows where to find more Mandalorian. This turns out to be a frog woman who wants passage to the estuary moon of Trask. which I always just take as an X-Man reference. Bolivar Trask.
Bolivar Trask, making them sentinels. Trask.
Box of scraps. To fertilize her eggs that she carries in her backpack tank. Yeah, they're going to go to the Trask to get those eggs fertilized, because right now they just look like a jar of pickled eggs. Which leads us to the next point. Baby Yoda just starts chowing down on them along with everything else in this episode. He hungry.
Yeah, hungry. Baby doesn't want his microwave dinner. Baby wants some real eggs.
Yeah, he wanted the good stuff. So,
give me all the eggs you have.
Yes.
All the eggs and bacon that you have.
Oh my God. Shout out Ron Swanson and Nick Armstrong, who played the
that's right. The
diner chef in that. Okay, so a nice wrinkle to the to the plot is that they cannot go into hyperspace because that will fry the egg. So they have to travel sublight. Cool new term to use. I'm going to tell people when I'm taking deliveries for work that I'm traveling sublight, so that, and sub high. This gets them on the radar of a couple New Republic X-wings, including Dave Filoni's pilot from Episode 6 of last season.
Yeah,
he traces the Razor Crest to that incident. Mando flees to a nearby ice planet where he crash lands into a cave, seemingly eviscerating the Razor Crest. It looked like, it had that great, Millennium Falcon, the cables are hanging down. That's how you know the ship's in rough shape. That's such a 70s sci-fi thing, and even maybe 60s Star Trek sci-fi thing. It's the ship has been hit by lasers. Cables have dropped from the ceiling.
It reminds me of Superman 3, where it's loose wires, this thing's a mess.
Yes. So, of course, now that we've crash landed, the frog woman wanders off, and Mando finds her giving her eggs a bath in what looked like a very comfortable hot spring.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda waddles over to the nearby egg patch and eats one of the insides. Then, he consumes what looked like a little bit like a face hugger, a scarily alien. Then hundreds of spider-like creatures, including a giant mama spider, spider-like, swarm the cave and chase them back into the damaged ship.
Yeah, we thought this might be the Krykna from the Rebels show, but looking deeper into it, this is actually the original Ralph McQuarrie design that the Krykna was based on.
Yeah.
He called it the knobby white spider. It was going to be on Dagobah. This is in Quarrie's concept art for Empire Strikes Back. So this is a really cool deep cut going way back.
I love it. Anytime you can get more of Ralph McQuarrie's brain nightmares on screen, that's always going to be a yes from me. All right, so the frog woman saves Baby Yoda, despite Baby Yoda having her genetic line by just being a hungry little guy. Mando torches most of them back. There's a lot of great uses of Mando's equipment and weapons in this sequence. But before they can take off, the giant mama pins them down, as we saw in the beginning of this episode, and they're saved by those two X-Wing pilots who commend Mando for his past good deeds with the New Republic and gave him a pass on his shady crimes. This, to me, felt very Han Solo-y, very you know what I mean? They were like, God, you've got a rap sheet a mile long, but you just are such a fun guy to be around, and you do a lot of good deeds. So we're gonna let it slide. Get out of here. Just promise you.
It felt like a not all cops are bad kind of moment.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get me at that. Get out of here, you rascal.
Mando patches the cockpit and manages to take off from the ice planet while Baby Yoda slurps one last frog egg because
a little jerk.
He's insatiable for them. Why?
They gotta taste like crack or something.
Oh my God! I imagine that they're like Reese's peanut butter cup holiday, the eggs or the trees or the pumpkins, where it's like you buy a bag of them and you're like, I'm just gonna have one or two, and then I'll put the rest in the freezer and enjoy them as a treat. And then 10 minutes later, you're staring at the bag and going what have I done to myself? And why?
You're I live in the freezer now.
Right, exactly. Now I must be freeze. Now I must become freeze. But they you just he just couldn't get enough of him. He was just an impulsive toddler, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Tommy, a lot of people are saying this was kind of like a filler episode. Do you agree with that? Do you think this is filler?
No, I think this is what this show does really well. They gave us a plot-filled, storyline-rich episode 1, and then they gave us episode 2 that is this is the world we've established. Here's a thing that happens in it with cool-looking monsters. funny moments, like irreverent Star Wars, quirky moments, great special effects, great like kind of character development with Mando and the child, like even more showing an even more like Mando becoming even more of like a father to this thing, like when he's negotiating for his safety, and also Mando's kind of like treachery where he makes a trade for the child's life and then immediately kills the guy. Like he's like, you can have my jet blaster. Like it's like they do a great job of reminding you that like he is morally very vague. You know what I mean? Like he's like the type of person that seems like they're always going to do the right thing in the end, but will be messy on their way to get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting that you bring up this whole fatherhood angle because I think the theme of parenthood was super strong this episode. And I'll say it's also a theme familiar to the episode directors, Peyton Reed, who directed the 2 Ant-Man movies for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you look into those movies, parenthood is kind of at the heart of both of those movies too. Neither Tommy nor I are parents. Well, we are. We just refuse to acknowledge paternity. Up top. Yeah.
Tommy Jr., right. if you're watching, and I know you are, you don't exist to me.
I'll be right back from the 7-Eleven.
That's right. I don't even smoke, but I go out for cigarettes once a week.
From the little we know about parenting, and from people in our lives who are parents, being a good parent isn't just about loving your kid when they're sweet and adorable. You also got to love and protect them when they're being annoying little shits, because most of the time that's what kids are. I think that is why Baby Yoda was so damn aggravating this episode.
Yes.
I don't know about you, Tommy. This is the first time I have felt aggressively frustrated with him.
Yes.
But I think that's the point. Yes. I think, kids get that way. They're a burden. They don't know how to protect themselves.
And they're incredibly impulsive.
Yeah.
Incredibly impulsive.
And while I was watching this episode, each moment of crisis, I kept waiting for Baby Yoda to kick in with another Mudhorn move where he helps out. But no, he's just a defenseless child. And that is what kids are. They're not all 11 from Stranger Things. They are, most of them, useless little jerks who just make your life really hard.
Yeah, they're will. Yeah. They're wills. They're not 11.
Yeah. And I think characterizing Baby Yoda this way puts Mando in the most horrific despair we have ever seen him in. I was amazed at how much worse and worse and worse things kept getting for him this episode. And if you talk to any parent, all 3 of my sisters are parents, they'll tell you that's how a lot of their days are. They just keep falling deeper and deeper and deeper until by some random grace of God, they're able to limp away from it and go home.
I think they call that bend don't break defense, where it's like
absolutely
you give up a lot of yards all game, but then at the very end you stop them from scoring.
Yeah, right. Now note that Mando isn't the only one going through this parenting challenge this episode. The frog woman passenger is dealing with the same crisis. She's just losing one baby after another.
Right.
She's just trying to get them safe passage to a new home.
Yeah.
Even the freaking Mama Spider, the antagonist of this episode, suffers that same horrible day from hell.
Yeah.
Some little jerk wanders up and eats one of her kids, and then eventually she and pretty much all of her babies die. It's a horrible day for her.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is valid criticism that it was a filler episode. I think if we're going to care about their relationship going forward between Mando and Baby Yoda, we just need a really bad day for both of them to truly test Mando as a parent, for him to prove that he really loves this kid. Because if you don't love Baby Yoda at his goo goblin, you don't deserve him at his tea sipping.
Oh, and Erik, cue 50 comments to remind you that was broth. Which
what? Tea.
I think it was tea as well, but boy, are there some broth fanatics on the internet.
Broth heads. There's a lot of broth heads out there.
A lot of broth bros. If they can't get what they want, nobody should get what they want. It's broth.
That's it. It's broth. Broth is gross.
It's a broth of gross.
All right, before we continue with some of the questions we have from this episode, we want to thank our friends at Manscaped for helping us to make this episode. See, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, men actually shaved their balls with the same razor as their face. Well, not anymore, thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped. The best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped is here to stop your twins from looking like Chewie down there. Don't be the hairiest Jedi in the Resistance. Get the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. Inside the Perfect Package, you will find their electric trimmer, the Lawnmower 3.0, a waterproof and skin-safe trimmer that reduces the nicks and the snags.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful forces in the galaxy is your lightsaber. Keep your lightsaber clean with their Lawnmower 3.0. They've also got the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. Those are the anti-chafing ball deodorant and ball toner spray. If your balls look as dry as Tatooine and smell as ripe as Watto's belly button, you need these.
Good Lord.
That's off-screen producer Zachary right there. Watto's belly button. What an image. The Perfect Package 3.0 also includes the anti-chafing performance boxer briefs. The Death Star is no match for Manscaped's incredible grooming tools. It is time to become a Jedi Master of your grooming game. With the Perfect Package 3.0, your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Mandalorian at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code Mandalorian. May the Force be with your balls. All right, let's start with some big questions we had this episode. We talked about the thematic reasons why Baby Yoda is so annoying and hungry this episode, but physiologically speaking, is something happening to Baby Yoda to make him so hungry? And could eating all those eggs be like bad for him in the future?
Yeah. I thought that the music was almost implying there was something mystical about the eggs and like his it was like very 80s, like this is like there's some connection between him and the eggs. But it also really reminded me that, like, Yoda, original Yoda Prime, is a very quirky, weird character. Like, he's a straight-up goofball when Luke gets to Dagobah. Like, he's really, like, this was the first time Baby Yoda kind of acted real goofy. You know, like, he has his, like, goofy reactions, but this was his first, like, really quirky behavior, shoving the eggs into his mouth. So I wondered if it was more of just establishing, like, right, this is a relative of like the goofy old Yoda in the swamp that we all know and love, you know?
Absolutely. And when we first met Yoda on Dagobah, you're totally right. He was annoying. Like, Luke was just like, get the hell out of here, you little creep. And he was eating his stuff, and he's just like, And I think that is true to the spirit of the original, Frank Oz puppeteered Yoda. Not necessarily the wise old master that he was revealed to be, but like, just a weird little swamp jerk.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. Like, I mean, that tone kind of got lost in the prequels, right? Like, younger Yoda was much more like, I like a solemn, wise leader, and then like for whatever reason, the solitude of Dagobah just like turned him into a complete lunatic. But I prefer. I mean, like most toxic Star Wars fans, I prefer the original trilogies to the point where I like my characters a little goofier.
Absolutely. A bit more tangible, tactile, and human, I would say. But, I don't think we're looking at any chest burster Baby Yoda scenes. No. That seemed like that might be the direction it was going towards. Yeah. But I think it's more of a general thing rather than eating these particular eggs. He's just going to eat a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I think he's about to hit a rapid period of a growth spurt.
I thought we were being led down a trick and that the frog woman and those frogs were going to be evil. And that's why Baby Yoda kept eating them. Like it was an old, like, that's kind of a Star Trek thing to have like the helpless passenger end up being the mastermind evil person. So it's more of a Star Trek original series, I think, kind of like, oh, no one is who they say they are. And like these aliens are always treacherous. But like I for whatever reason, I was like, they're having the most adorable, lovable creature in this entire franchise eating these eggs. Like, it has to come around that he's actually helping. Like, when I was sure when Mando went to sleep and said, like, you should just buckle up, the ship's on autopilot, that the frog woman was going to, like, reroute the ship and end up being some sort of, like, navigational mastermind and, like, was going to take them in. Anyway, that was so that was a misdirect. All right, Eric, let me ask. Can we assume that the Mandalorians the frog woman knows include Sabine Wren?
Yeah, I think so. If based off the trailer footage, we see them on Trask, which we now know is Trask, that water planet, and that seems to be the same location where they see Sasha Banks' character. Which, if that's not Sabine Wren, I think she is going to be part of that group of Mandalorians that the Frog Woman is leading him to. So I hope that's where this is going, because otherwise it's just kind of like, all right, are we just going to do a new Planet of the Week, a new Monster of the Week? Like,
Right. Yeah.
Tommy, I want to ask you, what do you make of these New Republic pilots being cast as antagonists? Like, yes, they gave Mando a pass.
Right.
But the fact that, like, Mando was, like, in opposition to them, and Mando has been siding with the Tusken Raiders, it seems like there's kind of like a flip in morality here.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going with this?
I think it's more just like they are now in the position of authority, right? Like they're now tasked with keeping peace in the galaxy, which is what the Empire always claimed they were doing, right? Like, obviously, their things were more nefarious, but they were like, with this Empire, we will keep the galaxy peaceful. So now their job is to, try and find anyone who's going to, upset the egg cart or upset the apple cart. I think, like, they probably thought they were chasing down a criminal, right? And in a way, they were. So I think that Mando is just like Han Solo in a way. Like, he's the cool anti-hero, right? Like, he's usually, what's the word I'm looking for? Fraternizing with unsavory characters, right? Like, he's usually, the people that are with him are usually people that are morally ambiguous as well. So, like, we know that the X-Wing fighters are usually, like, absolute good guys with, like, complete, straightforward, true north moral compasses. So I think that anything in that's always going to be in contrast with our Mando.
Yeah. And that's one thing that Filoni and Favreau are doing really well in the show, is showing the alternate, really embracing the from a certain point of view theme of Star Wars, which a lot of the games have done, especially with Battlefront, the playable narrative. And so I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. But what do you think will bring Mando back to Tatooine this season? Because we know he's got to be going back. Or my question is, will he go back? Because now it looks like that Boba Fett thing might be its own spin-off series. Do you think it's going to be in this season, or do you think it's going to be in its own show?
I gotta believe that and maybe this is just hope, but I feel like we're not done with Boba Fett in this show.
Yeah.
I mean, him wearing the Mandalorian armor was the most iconic Mandalorian elements of the franchise prior to this show, right? Like, basically. So I feel like they got to cross paths again. I also am just rooting for this because I want as much Amy Sedaris in my life as possible. So she's so weird and bizarre as this character, and as all of the characters that she plays. The fact that they're letting her play an Amy Sedaris sketch character,
they're just like, just do you
in a show of this magnitude, and like, it's like, not that this is like, The Sopranos of, like, method acting or whatever, but like just the fact that this is a Star Wars show and she's getting to do what she does best is truly, to me, one of the brighter spots of the series.
Totally agree. Well, instead of doing our Baby Yoda gift thing, we actually decided, now that we're between episode 1 and episode 2, we're going to do a new segment. Tommy came up with this idea of, we're calling it Man Do's and Man Don'ts.
Yes.
Where it's kind of like our little corrections corner for predictions we made week to week, and whether they paid off. So our first Man Do that we can credit ourselves for, we speculated that there was going to be one last little thing that keeps Mando on Tatooine. One last little challenge, and there absolutely was. There was a weird little bandit skirmish that he ran into.
Yep.
So a Man Don't, we predicted in a lot of our trailer breakdowns of videos leading up to this season that water planet could be Mon Cala or Camino or something like that. It is apparently the estuary moon called Trask, in orbit of a gas giant, a new planet to the show. So
I can't help myself around an estuary moon. I just... it turned into something different. It just brings out the best.
Another little man don't we should probably point out is the fact that I had said in the breakdown that extra in Mos Pelgo is Sam Witwer. By the time I had recorded the breakdown, Sam Witwer had said, no, that was not me. The guy just looks crazy like him.
Wow.
And it makes sense for this show because Filoni works in pretty much all the voice actors from Rebels and from Clone Wars show up here or there in that. Hopefully he'll get a bigger role is what this means because he's such a good actor.
Agreed.
Yeah. Any other man do's or man don'ts?
I mean, I think we definitely, man, do want you to let us know some man do's and man don'ts that we've made in the comments. Let us know. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what we got wrong. They're
going to do that anyway.
Yeah, we're receptive to feedback. You see me.
One little thing I want to credit myself for. It's a dumb, inconsequential thing, but the shot of the camera panning down on the ship, it was actually panning up at the hole, and I had noticed in the trailer that it was reversed.
Yes.
It didn't mean anything because it's not like there was something hidden, but I'm able to spot when footage has been manipulated.
You've got an incredible eye.
Dad, I have a real job.
I commend you.
All right, one last reminder that you can get this exclusive New Rockstars This Is the Way shirt at our new merch store, along with a ton of other great options at newrockstarsmerch.com. And if you do get this shirt, you can write in a little thing, a shout out that we'll put in this episode. But that is it for this week of Wookieeleaks. Tommy, it's been great chatting about this episode with you.
Always a pleasure, Erik. Highlight of my week.
Follow me at EA Voss. Follow Tommy at Tommy Bechtold. You can subscribe to New Rockstars on YouTube. Subscribe to Wookieeleaks wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a nice rating and review if you don't mind. I will see you tomorrow for the episode Easter egg breakdown. Again, a lot of cool details I can't wait to dig into. And we will close out this episode with our favorite Baby Yoda moment.